Begin simple Ujjayi Pranayama. And we'll go through the steps. Gently bring the chin down. Don't pull the back of the neck to do this. Certainly, you don't want to be looking up. Look down. Then, in your normal breath, begin to look at the head diaphragm. On inhalation, the brain should release in. On exhalation, it should release out. With all the practice we have done, with most of you, this should be quite quick. Then very deeply soften eyes, ears, and tongue. And if you can, soften the very sense of sight. So it is introjected. In the class, as I said, you are trying to listen to me. So introjecting the sense of sound may not be possible. But if you can listen to the sound of the breath, it would help. Little by little, increase your breath. Never increase the breath so much that you inhale so very deeply that you lose control on exhalation, nor exhale so deeply that you're gasping for next inhalation. This can be done. Pushing the breath like that can be done no more than once a week. One day in your regular practice, one day you can do that to increase your breathing capacity. But definitely don't do that every day. With eyes, ears, and tongue relaxed, these sense organs, sensations connected to that introjected. Then watch that sensation of the skin at the back. Whatever sensation you had when you were lying down, can you recapture that sensation so that on inhalation, the skin at the back appears to move forward? It doesn't really, but that is the sensation, that's the feeling. And on exhalation, that skin is not dropped in the opposite direction, but rather the ribs come to rest onto the support of that skin. And in the beginning, I'm talking to the beginner more, if you feel, as you are doing this breath after breath, if you feel tired, stop that breathing. Go back to normal breath, relax a little, and then slowly begin again. In Sarvangasana, when you are upside down, you definitely want to attempt to bring that skin towards the floor. In Pranayama, don't lift it up or down. Just relax it forward and back. If in doubt, definitely that skin at the back is not lifted up. If you can release it down, that's better. But the greater sense you want to capture here is the skin appears to move forward to lift the chest. On inhalation, on exhalation, the chest, the ribs come to rest on it, the skin doesn't move back. And with regard to Jalandhar Bandha, remember, the skin at the back of the neck is not pulled towards the head, preferably drop towards the buttocks, but better than those, just relax that skin forward towards the front of your throat. And that clavicle chest is lifted up at the end of the inhalation, particularly lift it up, and then don't drop it. Again, this may take a long time for it to happen properly. And if you are using any support under the chin for Jalandhar Bandha, do not let the head rest on that support. That support, whatever support you are using, is resting on the chest. and the chest is lifted to keep that supported. Then whatever you are using under your chin supports the chin. Then consider the next part, which was on inhalation, see that the breath touches imaginary corners on the outside of your nostrils. And exhalation, it is very, very narrow, so that naturally the exhalation is of a longer duration compared to inhalation. If all this is possible, you can attempt the next part, which is inhalation retention. Continuing everything as I described, at the end of the inhalation, that clavicle chest is lifted a little more. Don't drop that as you retain inhalation retention. As soon as the brain diaphragm tells you that the movement of the brain is the opposite way, start your exhalation. So that on inhalation, the brain releases in as you inhale. The sense of that inward relaxation of the brain continues, or at least it doesn't go the opposite direction when you hold inhalation retention. But if that begins to go out, if the brain begins to move outwards, you start your exhalation. And for a variety of reasons, you can start your Nadi Shodhana earlier. It is to help some other aspects of pranayama, mostly psychological aspects. But the way the fingers, the thumbs touch the nostril, near the middle gate of the nostril, make sure you are not using the fingers and the thumbs to pull the skin of the nose down. It is that fine opening where the soft flesh meets the bony surface of the nose, that hole is plugged upwards. There is no pressure applied from the fingers to the left or the right, or very little pressure. And you can use that refined pressure of the fingers and the thumbs to move the air on inhalation away from the center of the nostril, on exhalation towards the center of the nostril. And as necessary, remind the mind of all the steps. On inhalation is the brain releasing in, on exhalation releasing out. On inhalation is the skin from the back coming forward. On exhalation, is the ribcage resting on it, or are you dropping the skin back? Eyes, ears, and tongue, are they completely introjected? Something I didn't mention, I will now. In your arm, in the upper arm, the skin should feel dropping towards the elbow. If that skin rises up, it will lift the head of the humerus up also, which is a mistake. Not only in the hand that you are using to hold your nostril, but also in the opposite arm. The skin should remain dropping from the armpit towards the elbow. And complete your cycle, breathing through the nostril, out. At the end of exhalation, go back to normal. Don't force yourself to normal breath. Automatically, slowly let it come back to normal breath. And with minimum disturbance to the body, lie down for Shavasana. If you want, in relaxation, if you want, you can take the attention to any particular chakra. And you want to create a sense initially in your imagination, but create a sense that the chakra is chanting and you are only listening. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om